and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Serena Moon and today is the day that I finally film my birth story. If you are new here, I make a wide variety of content from perfume, lifestyle, motherhood, recipes, and wellness, honestly whatever I feel like that day. If that interests you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification to get notified for my next upload. So my baby girl is 16 months old now, and I've had a lot of time to ruminate on my birth story and everything that went down. And I am very fortunate and very grateful that I had a very beautiful and successful birth story. I'm very grateful for it. I had a home birth. I know that's not the case for everybody, but when I was pregnant, I watched a lot of birth stories. I even listened to Ina May's childbirth book that she has, I think Guide to Childbirth, and that I listened to that on audiobook when I was pregnant. And listening to that book and hearing other women's stories and listening to women on YouTube and hearing their birth stories was very helpful to mentally prepare for labor. So I want to do the same and give back in that way and share my experience to make you feel a bit better about the coming of your baby and the experience that you will go through. And I'll try to make it short and sweet. So this was not planned, but my baby's due date was October 8th of 2023, and my birthday is October 8th, and I just thought that was just so cosmic and meant to be, and really took me back when I found out. Like the day I found out I was pregnant, I calculated everything because I knew when my cycle was and everything. I knew exactly when it happened, and I was just wowed that that was my due date, was my birthday. So come my birthday, I still hadn't had her yet. I was exactly 40 weeks, and it was a weekend. It was a Sunday. My birthday was a Sunday, I'm pretty sure, which is funny because I was born on a Sunday. It was that Friday that I started to get cramps. I even had cramps, like I was having Braxton Hicks quite a bit for like a couple weeks before I actually went into labor. So that is very common. So don't freak out if you have Braxton Hicks. That's completely normal. Of course, talk to your like OB or your midwife about that. So come Friday though, the cramps were kind of intense. So I thought, okay, well, I mean, we're at the weekend where I'm 40 weeks, you know, but nothing really came of it. And then Saturday happened, which was October 7th. And that day I went and helped a friend clean up her house. You know, I was just hanging out with her, and that's what I do sometimes. We'll come over and we'll help each other clean up. So I was at her house, so I was moving and lifting heavy things, and I joked with her because a couple months prior, she was pregnant with her baby at the time, and I hung out with her back when she was pregnant, when she was 40 weeks, and I helped her clean her house, and the next day she went into labor. So then this day came, and I joked with her as I was leaving. I'm like, let me guess, I'm gonna go into labor tomorrow because that's what happened to you last time. And that's exactly what happened. So I thought that was funny. Moving your body, you know, that's why they say if you're close to labor and you walk upstairs, it'll help you go into labor. Stuff like that. I did have quite a bit of cramps that day as well, and even when I was helping my friend, but they kind of went away. So come the day of my birthday on Sunday, everything was fine. I actually wasn't cramping at all. And my husband and I, honestly, we just took it pretty easy. We went to the mall, we got some coffees, had a little treat with it, and walked around the mall, and he bought me a lipstick and a body spray, and then we went home. I was wanting to go bowling, but thank God I didn't. I was like, no, I don't have the energy for that. Let's just go home. Thank God, because I would have probably went into labor at the bowling alley. We had dinner, we went home, and we started playing a board game, and at this time it was around 9 o'clock, and my cramps started to get really intense. They came out of nowhere and they got really intense really quickly. So hindsight, looking back, I think I was in pre-labor like kind of all weekend, from Friday, Saturday up until Sunday, and then I just went right into active labor. But the pre-labor was overall pretty subtle actually. So I went right into active labor around like in between 9 and 10 o'clock. Come closer to 10 o'clock, I was counting the intervals between my contractions, and they were very close together and very intense. And they feel a lot like period cramps, very intense period cramps. and they would stay and they would come and go. My husband actually convinced me to call my midwife just in case, and the one woman was like, yeah, it sounds like you're in labor. And then when I finally talked to my midwife, she said, yeah, I mean, like, you sound all right now, but like, yeah, by the time we get to you, because they were half an hour away from me, so like by the time we get to you, you know, we'll see. But then when she did show up, she was like, okay, thank God I arrived when I did, because I was very, very much in labor. So I had a home birth, so my midwife drove out to me. I felt very comfortable and safe with a home birth. They were very educated and well practiced for a very long time, and I just felt very good about that decision, and I'm very grateful that it went very smoothly. And I knew, and I told myself in the back of my mind, and I said to others and people who were wary for me, I'm 30 minutes away from a hospital. That's how long it takes for them to even set up like a C-section scenario. So if anything went wrong, I know that the hospital is there. So I trust my midwives to make that call, and the call will be made if it needs to be called. And if it doesn't, great. And if it does, it's okay. And that was the attitude I had, and I'm very, very grateful that I didn't have to do that, and everything went really beautifully at home. Once my midwife did arrive, at that point I was just going in and out of contractions. They were very, very close together and very, very intense. So she told me that my shoulders were very tense and to relax them. At this point, it was a lot of back and forth of just my contractions. I was using the bathroom a lot. I have to say, I was using the bathroom a lot. I did not feel the urge to push, like my midwife asked me that. I hadn't felt the urge to push yet, but I was expelling a lot. I could not sit. Sitting was excruciating, and exercise ball, all that. I just could not sit. I had to stand the whole time, which is very common for women. And sometimes, unfortunately, if they have longer labors, you're standing for a very long time. It's very exhausting, but I try to stay strong. And all in all, my labor was around 2 to 3 hours long, which sometimes pushing alone can be 2 hours on average for a first-time mom. So I'm very, very grateful that all in all my labor was 2 to 3 hours. I heard also that can be genetic, like my mom has had very quick labors. She pushed me out in like one push, and my sister with her second, she had a C-section with her first, but with her second, it was a very quick birth as well. The only problem really that I had during labor was that my water did not break on its own. At first, I think a part of like my birth plan, I said I didn't want anyone to break my water, but in that moment, I just trusted my midwife. She said, you know what, it's been a while. I think this would help you a lot. And in that moment, I trusted her. She broke my water. And from there, very quickly after that, shortly after that, I did feel the urge to push. I started on my hands and knees because I know, you know, on your back, like I've learned a lot looking into labor and stuff like that, that you want to either be like squatting or in water or on your hands and knees. So I started off in my hands and knees, and that was going well at first, but then it got to a point where I had to lay down. So I laid down on my side. Then even from there, when it really came to the pushing, I ended up in the classic on my back position with my legs spread. My husband had my one leg, the two midwives were had my other leg and was in front of me, and that's how I ended up. So it's so funny that like that is not the ideal position for giving birth, but in the end that is what actually felt right for me. It can lead to more tearing, and I did tear and I did get stitches. The stitches were fine. It did hurt. She did not numb me perfectly, so I have to say it was not a fun experience, but overall it was fine, and I healed beautifully. Everything was fine. It's not a big deal that I tore naturally. I would much rather tear naturally than be cut by any means. So I ended up in total pushing less than 15 minutes. I think it was like 13 minutes I pushed, and in my mind I just didn't have another option. I just thought, oh, we're pushing, okay, so that has to happen now. So I gave it my absolute all, and that's how that happened. So the midwives were like talking me up. They were like, you did amazing, oh my gosh. So I was very grateful for that. So my advice that I have, you are going to experience this pain no matter what. It is painful, it is intense, it is pressure, contractions, it's going to be overwhelming, but you are meant to do it. Your body is meant to do it. You are more than capable, and we've been capable for a very long time. If you feel like you want to have the alternatives after learning the research, like things like simple as Tylenol or arnica, or if you feel like you need the epidural, that is up to you. But I'm very grateful that I had a home birth and that I didn't have that even as an option. My best advice that I have for you is to breathe. Realize that the pain is there for a reason. It has purpose. Your body is biologically designed to think if there's a threat or not. So if you do not feel comfortable, or you are scared of the pain, or any fear about birth at all, you are going to tense up and prolong your labor. This is pretty well documented and quite factual, where if you have any sort of resistance, it's going to take a very long time to get that baby out, because we are thinking, oh, is there a bear out there? We can't give birth right now, it's not safe. So if you even feel any sort of fear, you're going to prolong your labor. So you have to completely give in, completely embody the contractions, and just breathe. You have to focus on your breathing. Not the classic that you see in the movies, like, you know, look up different techniques, practice them before giving labor, but just the most important thing, the best advice I can give you is to breathe. Breathe deeply and calmly. Let go and deep breaths and trust your body. Let go of as much fear as you possibly can. And being completely real, when it was time to push, I said out loud to my midwife, I'm scared, because I was. It was that in that moment that she reassured me, you're good, we have a visitor. I pushed the wee one out in less than 15 minutes and we birthed her into this beautiful world, technically 57 minutes after my birthday, so she got her own birthday, but technically I also gave birth on my birthday. So it was amazing, it was wild, it was incredible, and I'm so grateful for my experience that I had. One last thing I want to say before closing up this video is I did refuse Pitocin at first. Obviously they're going to have it on hand, but I just said let's wait. It's supposed to help with the placenta coming out faster and you not hemorrhaging. However, I wanted it only if absolutely necessary. So I gave birth to the placenta no problem and in a timely manner. However, I did start to bleed a lot. So then she made the decision to give me the Pitocin and I said no problem. I did have shepherd's purse on me to prevent this, but I never ended up taking it even though it was with me in the room here. I just was so in the moment that I just didn't even think about it. It just didn't come across my mind. So I ended up getting the Pitocin. It really hurt in my leg. I have to say it did hurt, but it was fine. Everything was fine in the end. And then lastly to add, I mean, they ended up leaving my house a couple hours after that. You know, they weighed the baby, checked the baby, I nursed the baby. You know, there was a few things to do, but all in all, it was a beautiful evening. We all finally went to bed around like 5 a.m. and it was incredible. It was so mind-blowing. And a funny story, like for those who get it, I guess. You know, you have to get little postpartum diapers and I was wearing one. It was all I had on. And after that, you have just been like exposed to midwives or doctors or whoever, and it's just like you're in it. And I had the diaper on, I just gave birth. This was like one of the first things I said. The midwives are in the other room. I just look at my husband, I'm in the diaper, I'm like, do you think I'm sexy? Come on, baby, let me know. Yeah, I still kept my my inner comedian during that moment. So that is pretty much my brief description of how my birth story went. I honestly can't complain. Yes, it is painful, but you are more than capable of transmuting the natural process of what your body goes through. I believe in you. You got this. Go listen to more positive stories. Obviously, every woman's story is unique, and it's okay if you planned a home birth and ended up in the hospital. It's okay if you ended up in with a C-section. All that matters at the end of the day is a healthy mama and a healthy baby. Everything will be okay. Again, your body is meant to do this no matter which way it ends up happening. Another tip they say is to have music and have a calm environment. Take a bath if you need it. Some tea, stay hydrated. You got this. Remember to let go and breathe. You're going to do amazing. Just trust. And yeah, you are badass also because it's not easy, but I believe in you. If you want more information on like my breastfeeding journey or the rest of the story, honestly, let me know. I could maybe document it a little bit more. That's all for now. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below how far along you are in your pregnancy. I'd love to know where you're at in your journey. Take care. I'll see you next time.